Hey there, welcome back. Today's video is going to be another one of my watch me do my makeup slash tutorials. I figured I would do a smoky eye look. I don't tend to do very dramatic smoky eye looks, as most of you probably can imagine. I don't tend to like very over the top kind of crazy looks, but I figured I would do kind of like my version of a smoky eye, which is very wearable. You can always amp it up with like more liner and more, colors in the creases, but I figure I would just start with kind of, like a real wearable one, maybe one even you could wear for day, depending on your lifestyle, or, for evening as well. So I figured I would use my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. You guys are real familiar with this, I'm sure. Here's what it looks like. There you go. It's all the colors. And I kind of went into this kind of blind. I was kind of like, well, I'll just use a chocolate bar palette and I'll just figure it out as I go. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna kind of, pick the colors and figure out kind of what I wanna do as I'm doing it. So there's some great, shimmer colors in here, some great matte colors in here. So it's a little bit of everything, but obviously naturally it's still in the brown tones. So let's get started. I have no makeup on as we speak. I just had a facial 2 days ago, so I have like little breakouts and that kind of thing around my chin and that sort of thing, but I figure we'll just go with the real deal skin, and then I'll apply my foundation and all that kind of stuff, and we'll start from there. Okay, so I'm going to start first with the Nude Air Dior Serum Foundation, which if you guys follow me on the blog or on Instagram or that sort of thing, you guys know that I've been loving this foundation. It is very dewy, so just know that. I tend to use just like a slight, setting powder right in the T-zone, or not, depending on, the temperature or like how cold it is that day, or if my skin's not so oily. My skin's a little oily today, so, but I'm just gonna so I dropped just a little bit into my hand here, because I don't like to put it on a piece of paper or like a little tissue or something, because it tends to just immediately soak up. So I'll just kind of dab a little. I'm just gonna make sure you guys can still see me. And I'm just gonna take my Bare Minerals, this smoothing face brush, the new one that came out, and I'm just gonna kind of buff it in. I have it in the shade 010. And it's a little pink for me, but I still, can work with it. It's a little dark and a little pink, but I still really enjoy it. It's not enough to not be a good fit. This is quite sheer, so, you just kind of build it up as you need it. Put a little bit more down here. I tend to like a little more coverage, but, you do however much you want to add. And I tend not to do concealer on my face, to be honest with you. I find that the foundation, whatever foundation I'm using, does a good enough job of concealing, or I'll just take the foundation and I'll just build it up a little bit more in certain areas. So, and this foundation is, it's definitely buildable, which I like. And it's a really nice kind of skin finish. And but it is going to be a little bit more radiant, and than typically other foundations that I use. But I haven't found it to be super incredibly dewy to the point that I can't wear it. But that being said, I haven't worn it during the summertime, and that's always like my big test. And just by the past few times I've been wearing it, I'm gonna go with that it's not gonna be the best fit for me on in the summer. And I'm probably gonna need a lot more powder or a matte primer, something like my Murad. So I'll just kind of stipple around areas I need a little more coverage. So that's kind of, it looks quite pale in the video, but it actually is not so pale. Okay. That kind of gives me a, I don't want to get too close to my hairline because then it gets in my hair. But So finished with that. But like I was saying, I don't think it's gonna be a good summer foundation for me. But who knows? Maybe with a mattifying primer, like I said, or you know, the right mattifying powder over top, it will. So the next I'm gonna do concealer just under the eyes. Like I said, if I have any blemishes, which I do a little bit around my chin after my facial, I just build up the foundation in those areas. You know, I mean, I'm not a big concealer gal with spots on my face. I tend to just like to use my foundation for that. But I do like to use concealer under the eyes, and I've been loving this Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. It's like a little sample size, but I really like it. And I have a tons of concealers and brighteners, which would be crazy if I kind of like went out and bought this full size, because I already have so many that I need to kind of go through. But I am thinking about actually buying the full size of it because I'm loving it that much. So it's really like, it's brightening, and it just kind of blends right in, which I like. It really brightens under the eyes. I'm using just a Real Techniques contour brush. I like it because it's like, it has a slight contour to it, and it just fits right in my eyes, and I can just kind of press the color in. Okay, just swipe a little bit on the lids, not too much. Okay. Moving on, and I'll do a little bit of primer on my lids, then I'll do my brows. So I'm gonna use the NARS, kind of their Pro Prime Smudge Eyeshadow Base. And I just kind of like, just dab it all over my lid here. And then I'll just take my finger, oops, that's a lot. You don't need that much. And I just take my finger and I just pat it in all the way up to my brow. I don't like to use a lot of foundation on my lid because sometimes it can make my lids extra oily even with the primer on top. So I just tend to take like whatever's left on my brush and just smooth it onto the lids. And then I follow it with my primer. So I really like this primer. I like this one and the Urban Decay Primer Potion. Those tend to be my favorites. So here we are. We're kind of like looking really pale, but that's it'll start to look better once I start to bring some color to my face with bronzer and all that kind of stuff. So next is gonna be with my brows. It's gonna use an Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Ash. I don't know whether you can see. Okay, you guys can. So I just kind of like go to the top of my brow, then I do the bottom line of my brow, and then I just fill in. They never obviously match. They're like sisters, not twins. I always say. But I kind of, you know, I still haven't found any brow pencil that I love as much as this one and the Hourglass brow tool. I love these both kind of equally. And find that the color works really well. I tend to like to wear much lighter colors than might be, you know, suggested for me. Like a lot of times, because my hair is so dark, almost black, someone might like suggest like a really kind of dark brown eye pencil, but I don't like the way that looks, and it's a little too dark for me. So I tend to like gray based pencils rather than like a red brown. I like to tend to like a grayer brown. And I like to be a little bit lighter because of my oily skin. It will naturally deepen up my brows. Like as soon as I put them on, like in a few hours, they'll start to look a little bit darker. So if I go in with something too dark, that's just too much. Okay. Like I said, I could spend all day like fussing with my brows, so I won't, in the interest of time. Okay, so let's get on to the smoky eye itself. I'm just going to use a regular, like, I just have like a flat brush right here from NARS, you know. And I think I am going to do this, I think I'm gonna do this middle shade, this middle kind of brown shimmer shade right here. And I'm just gonna kind of put it onto my brush and just lightly just pat it on to the eye. you know, like I said, I mean, you could really, you know, make it as intense as you want to make it. I actually find smoky eyes to be one of the easiest looks. I know a lot of people are like, I can't do smoky eyes, and I'm thinking to myself, they, to me, are one of the easiest looks because I can typically get a smoky eye effect. I'm going to use my Laura Mercier, I think it's like the horsetail brush, the ponytail brush, it's a big fluffy brush, and just kind of start blending it a little bit more. I mean, I can achieve a great smoky eye with just one color. Like so far, I haven't added any other colors to my eyes except this one brown shimmer shade. And because my eye itself, like the crease and that sort of thing, will create dimension. Because if you put the brown in the crease and then you put it on the lid, it's going to look different in the lid than it does in the crease. And so it will just create definition just from by the contours of your face. So you can see I'm just kind of darkening it up and taking it kind of all the way up to, you know, right on the brow bone, but not any higher. And I'm not winging it out or anything. That doesn't tend to look good on me. And I'll move on to the other side because I try to move in stages with, I just pat the color on. I don't like to finish one eye and like start the next eye because I find that I'll never be able to match them correctly. So I find that if I just go at the same stage on each eye, I tend to get a more balanced look. So I don't have too much fallout with this palette, which is nice. When you're kind of pressing in the color, I don't have a lot of, nothing's really falling out underneath my eyes, which is good. I love this Laura Mercier brush. It's so good for blending. So once again, I haven't even changed colors yet. I have just stuck with one color. And like I said, the reason why I find smoky eye so easy is because most of the time when I do a smoky eye, I stick with one color. And I just kind of do like a light kind of matte highlight on my brow bone. And that's it. You know, that's kind of the whole shebang for me. I might add a slight color in the crease here. We'll just see how it goes. Okay, so that's just kind of the one brown shade. Like I said, it's that third one from the bottom here, next to that kind of burgundy shade. All right, in the crease, I'm gonna go in with a little bit with this like matte brown color right up here. Just dab that on the brush and just kind of, in light kind of swirling motions, I just kind of go into the crease like this. It's not super intense, but it just gives a little more depth. I mean, you could really, you know, go as intricate as you want to go. I mean, you could do a little bit lighter in the inner corners and then fade to kind of a darker outer corner. And I mean, it's however you really want to. I feel like those days for me of doing like a really intricate eye are just, I just don't love them as much as I used to. I really used to love to spend like an hour doing my makeup. Like when I would go out or things like that, I mean, I would do such an intricate look and I just don't want to do that anymore. I mean, I love doing my makeup, but I think those days of real like strong intricacy are done for me. So you can see it's just adding a little bit of color right into the crease. And like I said, my smoky eyes are not going to be that dramatic, so maybe what you've seen on YouTube or whatever, mine are probably going to be very significantly less dramatic than those. And I'm just going to take this matte bone shade right up here. I just take it on another brush and I just kind of go right underneath my brow. And I sometimes bring it down onto the crease itself just to kind of, you know, blend out that crease just a little bit more, so there's just like more of a fade, like a gradient, rather than like such like a, you know, highlight and then like a crease color. So it really helps to just blend things, I feel. A lot of people would start to add liner and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to. I will just simply take that same brown shade we were working with, the brown shimmer shade right there, on like a little, this is the lip brush from MAC. but I find that it works great as an under eye brush. And I'm just gonna take it and just smudge under the eyes. I like it because it stays really close to the lash line. Really intense smoky eyes with like a lot of under eye color do not look good on me. I tend to, it's just the way my eyes are shaped. I have really deep set eyes and it just doesn't tend to look that great on me. So I just do a little bit towards the, close to the lash line, and then try to clean up with concealer if I get too far down. And then just kind of smudging it. Oh, I forgot how irritating this can be sometimes to the eyes. I rarely do like an under eye smoke anymore, you know, where I put color under the eyes. Just because, like I said, it tends, for me, it tends to move. Like it tends to like even move down my eye, and by the end of the night, I'll just look like I've been punched, or like it's just so dark, and it's just, I'm like, oh, I don't love it anymore. So just kind of going back in and just kind of buffing out all that color. I'm gonna take one of, I'm gonna take this brush. It's like a MAC kind of flat shader brush, flat eyeshadow brush, and just go under there and just smooth it out a little bit again. Maybe take a little bit for the inner corner. I'll take a little bit of the matte bone shade that I did in the highlight, and I'm just gonna kind of tap it into my inner corner here. It's not a super intense highlight, you know, like a lot of people will do that like really bright highlight in the center. I don't tend to love that, but okay. I'm just gonna grab my concealer brush that I had with whatever's left and just kind of go along under my eyes here, just to kind of clean up. I don't have any fallout, but I really like to keep that shadow line that I did underneath my eyes right next to the lash line. I don't like it to move down. So the mascara I'm gonna throw on is the Chanel La Volume de Chanel. So that's the, I went through a few of my other mascaras I just finished, so I pulled this one out and I forgot that I had it, and I was like, oh, I really love this one. It really gives like thick, thick, thick lashes. Once again, I only do the upper lash line. I don't do my bottom lashes. I did years ago. I used to love to do my bottom lashes. I just felt like the way that my lashes are, it would smudge no matter the mascara. The way my eyes are shaped and the way my lashes are, it would start smudging. It would start smudging, and a really, you know, the blended beautiful smoky eye I had turned into this like smudgy mess by the end of the night, and it just was not pretty. So I've just, I think also a part of, you know, makeup is it should work for you. You know I love the look of, oh, I just got a little bit on my upper lids here. My lashes weren't dry yet. You know, you have to do what works for you. You know, not necessarily, I mean, I'll see a great look on someone and really want to recreate it. Like, oh, I wish I could look like it would look like that on me. But sadly, sometimes it doesn't, or my eyes doesn't work with my eyes or whatnot. So, I mean, I've just found what looks work for me. And then I just stick with that. I'm just gonna, a little fallout here. Just gonna take a little bit of this top brown shade right up here with this little, with my Laura Mercier fluffy brush. And I'm just gonna dab a little bit into the corner here and just kind of, I kind of like to add it, that last step. After I've already done mascara and everything, I tend to like to just go in if I feel like, oh, I could benefit from this being a tad bit darker. And then I'm just going to take a different fluffy brush. It doesn't have any color on it. It's MAC 224. And just go in and just blend, blend, blend. I almost kind of like push the color, you know, into my crease there, just to kind of really give it like seamless edges. So it's like little, you know, buffing motions also with like kind of like buffing motion, pushing motions as well. So kind of, and just take a little more of that bone shade and just kind of go along the brow bone. Okay. I know we're running long, so I'm just gonna finish up with my cheeks and lips, and that's that. Okay, so that's kind of the look, just that quintessential smoky eye. And for the cheeks, I'm gonna do my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette, and I'm gonna grab one of my NARS Yakio, I think, brush, and just swirl it in, I think, dim light. That's the one. And I like to use it as a contour. I know we've talked about this before, how silly that the Hourglass highlighting palette that everyone uses to highlight, I use to contour. But I find that it gives just a really slight, you can see just a ever so slight contour, which I like. It's just enough for me. And then for my cheeks, I'm going to use the By Terry Densalist Blush in Platonic Blonde. Love this color. I have on my Hourglass blush brush here. And just right on the cheeks. You know, starting at the apples and just kind of dusting back slightly. And just right on the apples and just slightly back. I don't want to go all the way back to my hairline. Okay. And then I'm gonna finish it off with the new Guerlain, the Meteorites Compact. I got this in the medium shade. And I just take it with like a small blush brush and I go right into it and I go right on my cheekbone and I just kind of then dust it all over. I take it on my cheekbone and then just swirl it all over the cheeks. I find that finishing powders for me, like this one and the Bobbi Brown one, they give like a slight highlight, but then they just kind of bring the color on my cheeks. They just tone it down a little bit and they bring it all together. And you can even, you know, just take a little bit and dust it on your forehead, down the nose, on the cheeks. Okay. And just add a little more blush. Okay. And then for the lips, I'm gonna do one of my favorite nudes, which is the Lipstick Queen in Saint Pinky Nude. Oh, I love this color. And it's just a beautiful pinky nude that really looks good with anything. And so that is the finished look. So that's kind of my version of a smoky eye. I know it's not super intense, but I feel that it's comfortable for me. Like, it's wearable, it's comfortable, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys soon, okay? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.